It is our pleasure to be joined by the offensive coordinator for the Oklahoma Sooners. Jeff Lebby is in the house. What's going on, big guy?
What's up, man? All good. All good here.
It's always fun to catch up. Excited to talk some OU football with you, but you know where we got to start. You know it's coming. A lot of rumors. A lot of rumors about other schools coming after you to be their offensive coordinator. Obviously, the ones that have gotten the most attention are Nick Saban and Alabama coming after you. Let's do it this way. What would you like to say about any of those rumors?
I'd like to say I'm sitting in Norman, Oklahoma, and sitting right here in the middle of the Switzer Center, and living my dream, man. Having the ability to be here at Oklahoma. Getting to do what I'm doing every single day, seeing this thing through, means the world to me. So that's what I can say about that.
Well, it's good. You guys, it's crazy. It feels like it goes on forever, the season, all that stuff. And then I know for you guys, you got recruiting, it's right into it. But man, spring's right around the corner. We're already a week or so into February, and you guys are going to be gearing back up, I'm guessing probably right there early March. What's your feeling with what you got right now? Not necessarily personnel wise, but year one is in the books, taking stock of what you guys accomplished there, and like gearing up for this next run, this next season. Like where's this team at?
Yeah, I think where we are today and where we were a year ago today are completely different places, right? Just from an understanding standpoint, guys understanding, and I'm not just talking about scheme, but understanding the expectation of how we're going to operate inside the building. I think that was something as we look back over the last calendar year, man, there was not just a little bit of change, but so much day-to-day change with our guys. We talked a ton about how much the roster turned over, but with the guys that had been here and even with the guys that were coming in, understanding the expectation of what it means to play football at the University of Oklahoma and how you're going to operate when you walk through those double doors every day was a lot. And so that not being new for our guys that are coming back is huge. The scheme part, obviously we've taken these incredible strides. We're at a really good place today as we sit here. We look at it 5 weeks until spring ball starts, and the way the calendar sets up is really good, so got an opportunity here to make these huge strides here in the next 5 weeks. We talk about it nonstop, Ted, man. We're in a race against ourselves to see how good we can get without the football in our hands, and that means what we're going to do with Schmitty, how we're going to commit inside that weight room and inside those walls, and then how much time are we willing to spend as a student of the game and being inside the building when the hours really don't allow you to do that. But our guys have taken it, they've ran with it, and proud of where they're at right now for sure.
You mentioned all the change for the players and the challenges that resulted in, but it was a change for you as well, right? Sure. Being back at Oklahoma, working under a defensive head coach, like what were the biggest challenges for you, Leb, in your first year?
Yeah, I think the thing that helped me a ton, and it really did, was having some familiarity inside the offensive staff room, having familiarity with BV, who he is, his background, some understanding. I think the most challenging part was the fact that we didn't get it done on the field. I look back over the last calendar year, and the hardest part for me personally was our guys not getting to enjoy victory. And that's something that, man, that's going to stay with me. But from a day-to-day standpoint and being inside the building and having the opportunity to lead this unit and these guys every single day and work with the guys I get to work with, man, that part of it's been phenomenal. It's the on the field. And again, we had guys play these incredible games at times, but not get to enjoy victory. And that's the part that I think I struggled with the most, without a doubt.
Yeah, I think the point you made is critical and interesting. Transitional year versus developmental year is kind of maybe a way to phrase it. And even for Dillon Gabriel, there was a lot made about obviously the prior history you guys had. He played under you. offense and everything, but the expectation, I think, incorrectly was that, oh, it's just you step right in,
Right.
But it wasn't the same exact offense, whole different set of players, a new, obviously a new city that he's living in, new teammates, trying to get to know everyone.
Yeah.
So whenever you look at it, there's a big transition for him too. And after you take stock in the year, and now it should be a good developmental year for him to really, be comfortable as a leader instead of like stepping into this new place and being expected to be a leader. Like it's more natural and organic now. So what do you look at from him? Like, what's the next step for Dillon?
Yeah, there's a couple of different things. I think the first thing, he's going to be so much better come this year because of some of the things we've already talked about. But here's this college guy that's already, 3 years into his college career, that's had all this success, that's done a really good job at a cool place that he was at before. And he was very used to his day-to-day. There was turnover in the coaching staff, but the practice schedules and his day-to-day with the morning format and how they operated, that was what he was used to. So just like all these other guys that came in from different universities and the guys that were back that were college guys that were here, that changed. And so understanding again, man, how we're going to operate every single day, the expectation when you walk through the double doors again was a lot. And having that grasp, I think, is monumental for him, and understanding what it is to be here at Oklahoma and to play that position at the University of Oklahoma. So his understanding in that, to me, is just a huge deal that probably doesn't get talked about enough. But then the on the field part of it, I expect him to take some really good strides in a couple of different ways. One, being able to carry the football situationally for us, being able to do some of those things. And then two, continuing to lead and get the most out of every single guy that's around him. We've been really good historically throwing the ball down the field. We were good, not great this year. So being able to do that will be a huge part of it as well. But that's where I see him making strides. But he's so much more comfortable in his skin today than he was a year ago, just because he knows what tomorrow brings. And I think that's huge.
Looking at Dillon's situation, right? And you mentioned it, the expectations when it comes to playing quarterback at Oklahoma now, they're a little unreasonable. Let's just be honest. They're a little unreasonable with the run that the program has had. Now you add in the fact that, 5-star Jackson Arnold is now there. For you, Leb, like, how do you handle that situation, right? Where you're creating competition between those two guys, but you're also trying to foster a bond between those two guys and have both of those guys kind of lead the team in their individual ways.
Yeah, the thing that's very natural about that is they're two great dudes. Like, they're big we, little me guys. They're team first. They care about each other. They care about the health of the room. They care about the health of the locker room. And so that part is incredibly natural because, again, Coach V talks about it all the time, but people win. We got to go make sure that we're bringing the right people into the locker room, and none more important than the QB position. And we've got the right guy. So Jackson's trying to soak it all up, man. He's trying to learn everything he can from Dillon, watching Dillon, seeing how Dillon operates, seeing how much time he spends in the building, understanding the commitment that it takes to play at a really high level at this level and at this university. So he's taking it all in. Dillon's done a great job taking him under his wing, trying to help him as much as he can and bring him along, get him up to speed. And I'm looking forward to getting on the grass with all of them, the entire room. So it's incredibly healthy. It's what we needed. We got it. And dang sure excited about it.
You got to replace some guys.
Yeah.
Lost your big left tackle. You lost your star running back.
Infuriating right tackle.
Infuriating right tackle. Star running back. Do it all tied in. Downfield stud in Mims. Now there's some young additions through recruiting and some guys already on the roster. And then there were some big, portal guys that came in as well. Stogner, Walter Rouse, the Anthony kid from Michigan, some really good additions. Like, how do you feel about the overall roster right now with what you got?
Yeah, I feel really good without playing it down or getting into spring ball. We got a ton of work to do. I think that's obvious and evident. But again, to me, where we're at right now and what we were able to add, those three guys that you just named, man, are going to be huge parts of what we get done. And I think when you look at it from a portal standpoint, we were able to take guys that have played a ton of football. There's not any guesswork. I know what Walter Rouse is going to be about when he steps out there at left tackle. I've seen it. So that's a huge, huge deal. We know what Stogg's about. He's played a bunch of dang football and played at a high level for a lot of years and for a lot of snaps. So know what he's about and know what he's going to be. So you look at things like that, and that all of a sudden there's some clarity there where you're dealing with new guys, but you feel really confident about what you're getting because you've seen it on tape over and over and over. And excited about where they're at, excited about some of these young guys. I do. I think we're in a good spot. We got guys that have played a bunch of ball, and then the guys that haven't, maybe they haven't had production, but they're sure capable. And that's why they call us coach, to put them in position to go win and be successful for us.
Now, coaching is about, addressing your weaknesses, getting better at those, but also maximizing your strengths. And as you head, as spring ball nears, what do you look back on in the 2022 season and said, hey, we did that really, really well, and we can build on it and continue to maximize that strength? Is there anything that comes to mind?
Yeah, I mean, when you look at it, we ran the football well. We did, and I think we put our guys in positions of success. We left a lot out there. Like, we're going back through from a self-scout standpoint, obviously. Right now, met all morning with that, starting back on that. But we're going to continue to hang our hat on running the football and being incredibly physical. That's going to be where it starts for us. The follow-up is the weaknesses part of it. We've got to be better situationally, on third downs in particular. Had some ball games where it cost us and kept us from winning football games. And so regardless of yards, regardless of points, if you're on the wrong side of it, then we've got to make sure that we're doing the due diligence on our end to put us in position to stay on the dang field and be better situationally on third downs. Will be a huge focal point for us this spring.
Wide receiver, obviously Mims is gone. Now there's plenty of capable guys out there. Some guys hampered by injury a year ago, and frustrated not being able to get out there and do their stuff. Like, what are the expectations for that group moving forward? Like, maybe some of the guys that need to step up, that you guys as a staff have big expectations for, and whether they're newcomers, guys that have been on the roster.
Yeah, when you look at it, the two guys obviously that have the production and have played a ton of snaps are Jalil and Drake as they come back for us. And then outside of that, it's guys that hadn't played a ton of ball for us, So when you're looking outside, you're looking at Nick Anderson, you're looking at JJ Hester, you're looking at Jay Gibb, you're looking at Andrell Anthony, LV. Those are five guys that again are incredibly capable. Guys that I'm incredibly excited about getting on the field. I love the fact that we've got all those guys to give us this incredible competition going through spring ball and fall camp. To me, that's going to be incredibly healthy for us. And then obviously Gavin Freeman being back in the slot and being able to do some things with the opportunities to add Petaway and Keon when they get here. Two guys that are incredibly talented and be great additions to the room. So, I mean, at the end of the day, man, we're looking for production. We're looking for guys that are going to make incredible plays and be incredibly explosive, and then fight their butt off on the perimeter to block and to strain and to be physical when they need to, and be big time team guys. So we're looking for explosion and big time playmakers. That's where it starts, and then the rest of it follows suit. But man, I could not be more excited about where those guys are today and where they're going. So it's going to be a fun spring.
You want to run the football, right? Everywhere you've been, that's been made very clear. We got to see what Sawchuk and Barnes are capable of. We got to see what Barnes is capable of throughout the season. but in the bowl game, especially, we got to see both of those guys. How you feeling about the running back position heading into spring ball?
I think we got guys that maybe don't have all this crazy production, but when you look back at Marcus's career, right, and when the guy has been healthy, which has not been incredibly often, but when he has been healthy, he's been productive. So you take his carries and you watch him in a one reel, and you like what you see. So I'm a Marcus Major believer. I think he's a guy that, again, is going to have a ton of opportunity. Hopefully he can stay healthy, and that's dang sure the plan. Create a ton of confidence for him this spring as we move through the spring. And then, we saw glimpses of some young guys playing at a high level with Javonte and with Gavin. So adding pieces to the puzzle this spring was huge. Caleb Hicks and Hollywood, having Smothers here, those two guys are guys that are really, really talented, that it was huge for their development and for us as a unit to be able to get them here, mid-year, guys that are working their butt off right now. So feel good about where we're at. Those guys will have a ton of production come fall.
We do the podcast, and we talk about football. We break stuff down, and there's always a lot of talk about how many yards this guy had and what this quarterback's numbers were, but we always come back to the fact that this is a line of scrimmage sport. It always is. It always comes back to who wins the line of scrimmage. So that being said, the offensive line, you got some guys obviously that are out. You've kind of shored that up through recruiting or through the portal, bringing in some experience. Also, some younger guys in recruiting, but to me, that's going to be the key to everything moving forward. How do you feel about the offensive line right now?
Yeah, again, I think when you look at it left to right, Walter won't go through spring with the shoulder, but his production, how he's played and what he's put on tape is high level. Savion Byrd inside, McCade coming back. Those two guys, again, feel really, really good about them. Andrew Rain, I'm a believer. He's done really well. He'll continue to get better and better and put himself in position to be, one of the best centers in college football next year. And then Tyler Guyton at right tackle, a guy that to me has got all the ability in the world, has made great strides in the last calendar year, and is a guy that's he's going to play really well, and he's got this incredible ceiling. So again, I'm a believer there, and we've got really good pieces around that with some guys that we've brought in. Hate that Jacob Sexton obviously ain't going to be able to go through spring, but excited about Aaron Parks, weighed 314 pounds this morning. Had to play in the bowl game, did some good things, had flashes. A young man that's incredibly talented, Jake Taylor being back, going to move him around this spring and get the most out of him. So, again, feel good about where we're at. We got a lot of work to do. I think the starting five that walk out there for the first time, early September, we're going to like where we're at.
2022 was not particularly easy for anyone associated with OU football, right?
Yeah.
Players, coaches, radio team, alums, former players, all of it, right? It was not fun. How do you handle the social media criticism? Because you got to be on Twitter for recruiting and all that stuff. And there were a couple of weeks, man, where people were saying some crazy shit about you. Like, how do you compartmentalize all that? Like, how do you handle that?
Gabe, we stress it with our players all the time. Like Coach V talks about it, and make sure we're not letting people walk through our mind with their dirty feet. That to me, that paints like this very clear picture. That's what that means. And so it's funny. We'd sit in here and, regardless of the situation, I'd get a text and somebody, it's a pity text, which I absolutely hate, but hey man, hang in there. These people don't know what they're talking about. And I tell Bill, I'm like, hell, Bill, the only reason I know this is because they're texting me. I ain't looking at it. I'm texting with my guys. If they need to tweet something to me, I'm not talking to them the right way. I'm on text messages with these guys. And so Bill and I would have some fun with it, but I stay away from it, man. It's just not part of who I am, my DNA, what I'm about, what we're about. It's out there, good and bad. You know, it's going to be it was the exact same thing after scoring a whole bunch of points and having a ton of yards. It was just the other side of it. So to me, if we're going to talk about being inside out, we got to live inside out. We got to be about us and making sure that we're doing right by each other inside this building and doing right by our football team and our players. And that's where it's going to start and stop.
In a perfect world, you don't have any true freshmen that come in and play outside of maybe like a kid that's just absolutely special that you got to get out there.
Right.
You know, but there's few rosters out there that are that good. And, you know, it's just kind of like an assembly line where guys come in and they sit for a year or two before they're asked to do anything. But what do you have any expectations right now with the class that you have coming in, or is there not even been enough evaluation for that up to this point? And I don't know, like, I guess the main thing is like Jackson, like what's Jackson Arnold's role? Like, what do you envision his role being this year? And, you know, just how do you expect all that to play out?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for us is having 15 days of spring ball and then being able to answer that question and there being some clarity and some honesty about it instead of speculating, you know, because just like every single position, you know, regardless of who it is that's coming in, whether it is the 5-star, the 3-star, whatever it is, man, they're all getting on that line together. And so whenever they're getting on that line and Schmitty says hand behind the line and we're on the clock, you know, how these guys respond every single morning at 6 a.m. and through coaching stations and winter workouts and all these things, that'll determine what I think about them going into spring ball. And then how we operate those 15 days are going to determine, hey, this is what I think we need to do with this guy in the fall and be able to create this role. So right now, our goal is how good can we get and how fast can we get that good before we start spring ball? You know, we're truly in a race against ourselves, man, every day. And that's the stress with our guys, getting better every single day. And it sounds cliche, but taking it one damn day at a time and getting better every single day and being present in it and finding ways to maximize, you know, our 24 hours.
I'd say us three. I think it's fair to say us three were all co-presidents of the Braden Willis fan club.
No doubt.
And what he was able to do for y'all. How do you envision, and I know you'll probably find more out during spring practices, but is that going to be one guy that you think can fill that role? Is it going to take multiple guys? Because, man, he was as versatile as you could really ask a tight end, H-back, fullback, whatever the hell you want to call him could be.
Yeah, yeah. You know, I feel really good about Stog. I really do. I think this guy is going to be able to play at a really high level for us. They've got a little different skill sets at times and being able to do some things from a body type standpoint. But again, that's my job. Make sure to put them in positions of success every single day. But I think we're going to have incredible production at that position and a guy that's able to play a whole bunch of snaps for us, and then having the ability with Blake Smith and these two younger guys with Caden and Jason to be able to create some 12 when we need to. So I'm looking forward to Stog and having him back here. And, you know, I think he saw the kind of year Braden had and said, man, I want a little bit of that. And here he is. So excited about him.
You know, there's always like whenever you go to a new place, there's a mix of obviously good offensive coordinators see their roster and kind of change what they do to reflect the strengths and weaknesses of what you're working with. But there's also, like, in year one, like, this is what we do, damn it. Like, this is our system. This is our scheme. You know, if we got to bang our head against the wall until we get it, we're going to do that. And then, you know, maybe you can, once that's all implemented, you start to maybe expand a little bit. I guess what I'm asking is, like, how much of what we saw last year is base stuff, and how much is maybe the offense going to evolve with some different personnel and stuff that you've got?
Yeah, you'll continue to see changes inside of what we're doing, just because, again, it's going to be a different 11 guys on the field that were on the field, you know, last year. And you said it, that's our job to put those guys in positions to go do what we need to do to win a football game. And that's what we'll do. So you'll see you'll see some differences without a doubt. You know, you look back and second year at Ole Miss, we were in a ton of 10 personnel because we didn't have tight ends. You know, first year at UCF, we're in a bunch of 10, and you know, year 2, we're in a ton of 11. So this past year, we're in all 11 and a little bit of 12. You know, so just depending on who we got and playing to the strengths of the best 11 guys, that's the biggest thing, is making sure your best 11 are on the field every single snap, or as many snaps as we possibly can be, and then being able to adjust from there.
Looking at kind of the big story right now when it comes to OU football, a lot of talk about when are you making the move to the SEC?
Right.
Is that something you care about? Is that something that matters to you? Is it something like, does it matter when it comes to the recruiting element of things? Or are you just so focused on the day-to-day that it's really nothing you can control?
Can't control when we're going. I think the obvious part of it is that the kids that we're recruiting and the guys that we're recruiting understand that they're going to play in that league. So that part of it is a big piece of the conversation, understanding they're going to play in the SEC. Not knowing when that happens, I don't think will dramatically change a kid's decision, because at the end of the day, they know that they're going to play in that league. So for what that's worth, but that's not something for us being inside the walls, that, you know, there's not a lot of chatter for us on that end of it, because it truly doesn't change anything. You know, we're going to go about it the exact same way every day.
I'm guessing you have the schedule. Same
Gabe,
mentality for the schedule.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, I do. I like the schedule. I think, you know, again, it puts us in position where we need to be to get this thing back right, and, you know, going the right way, and winning a bunch of dang football games, and having a bunch of fun doing it, and letting these guys enjoy their hard work and their success at the same time. So I like the look of it.
Well, unless you want to tell us how much money you turned down from all these other places, I think we'll let you get out of here, man.
I'm good. I appreciate y'all.
Leb, you're the man. Good luck in spring. I'm sure Ted and I will get out there for a couple practices. Appreciate the time, man. Thank you.
Appreciate y'all, man. Talk soon.